Welcome, everybody. Welcome to BeoTalk 228. If you are meant to be a subscriber, check if you haven't, because YouTube purges people apparently. And if you're not, please like and subscribe. Also, likes help us out a lot in the algorithm. Willie bought some new headphones and he's switching over to the dongle, so we'll do it live.
It's doing it. I think it's done. It did something, and that was that.
Yeah, but you now still have to change it in Skype and see if that actually works. As per usual, with some housekeeping out of the way. Go and buy something cool at Skinny Play. That's always nice. I give you a promo code. Come on, I just want to copy paste. Bloody hell. That's the promo code in chat. Gives you 10% off of 1, 2, or that sort of thing. Come join our Discord if you want to be ahead of the game on just about anything, or if you have questions and that sort of thing outside of our regular office hours. We're also on Twitch, and if you want a guaranteed answer to your question and or topic, a super chat guarantees that. And I think that's pretty much it.
There you go. Does it sound better?
Yes, actually.
Okay, so that's on a dongle.
How have you been?
All right. Been busy, man. I finally started working with the shop, right? So I don't know how this is connected. Actually, it's blinking. It's supposed to be blinking or no?
Mine is solid.
Okay. Shut it down. Hold on a second.
Well, what mic are you on?
It's gonna pair with something. We'll see what it is. Back to this. So
I now can't hear you. He's doing it live. We always say this is a show made out of duct tape. Well, here we are.
It says I'm in call.
Oh, now I can hear you.
Which is weird. Yeah, but it says I'm in the call through Bluetooth, so the dongle doesn't really work. Or what?
I have no idea.
So, anyways, I want to connect the dongle, bro. It's already checked and shit.
Maybe this wasn't a good idea to do it live.
It's never a good idea to do anything really, but every now and then you gotta try it.
I got massively pissed off earlier this week because, as everybody's heard, right, the European energy markets are doing weird.
Mm-hmm.
And so last year, when I didn't care about electricity all that much and everything was on most of the time, also in the podcast, and like TVs were on behind me, my monthly bill was like 90-ish euro.
Yes.
Then it's upped to like between 160 and 190, and that's been like that for the last 6 to 9 months. And then I got a nice notice that from October it's going to be 465-ish a month.
Oh my god. Wow.
So if you pleasant people that watch us literally keep the lights on through super chats.
Wow, man, that's insane. You need to get the hell out of there, dude. For real.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to super chat because this is really rather shit.
Oh, I bet. Like, this is insane, dude.
Oh, I forgot again. We're actually also on Substack if you want the audio only version. I'll upload it later tonight, so that link in the chat too, but it's also down below in the description, just in case you prefer to watch it with your screen off and don't want to look at our ugly faces.
What is this?
Substack.
Is it?
Okay. Substack is like a podcast platform / I guess we're journalists.
Totally.
I mean, we know stuff before it happens, so.
Yeah. kind of, sort of.
Willie moved to Le France de Canada because stuff went
Yeah,
sideways.
for a little bit. I'm not planning to stay here, y'all, but for now, it's gonna be a fun time.
So
But yeah,
there's that. Help keep the lights on. I never begged so much.
wow, that's insane how much how much energy pricing is now in Europe altogether. That's insanity.
Yeah, the thing is, there's no heat in that. This is just electricity because the building I'm in gets the heating from residual heat from the power plant. So it's basically free.
Fuck sakes, but still.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's stuff like that. Also, yesterday was a good day because I went to go and see the theater in action, which
Oh
was
yeah.
yeah. Which
So
well, I guess let's get right into that. Also, for a bit, I asked my girlfriend actually to write some thoughts on it because I mean, I can obviously like it, and I'll go woo woo woo, and she'll go,
mm,
yeah, it's fine, whatever, as long as you're happy, right? So I actually
okay.
asked her, like, if you actually think, like, write down what you actually think, and I don't care if it's not in agreement with me at all, but
Mm,
just for in case people want to know the WAF, because that is rather important in the end, the wife acceptance factor.
yeah. So
Well, I must say I was at a different dealer than my other normal dealer. So I went to a dealer called Ed Bach, and I'm not sure how long the theater will be there anymore, but supposedly it's you have to like make an appointment for a proper showing, and we kind of sort of wandered in, and it
okay.
just happened to be quiet.
Oh, okay. So
I must first describe the room a little bit because this is potentially the most insane setup that it came with. Because this was set up as a center, it was in 65-inch form, and then it had
okay.
two 90s up front and 28s as rears.
That's properly to do it. That's how I'm gonna do it when I get finally to Miami.
And
Because I will buy the theater for sure.
the sort of it's it's like a shop you walk into, you go up some stairs, and that's like where you do like the actual deals and stuff, and then you go
How big
down
is the room?
130 square meters, like the whole shop, because it's sort of open, but like you walk in and you have a plateau with like a TV and a contour and some balances and that sort of thing. You walk
Okay.
up to like a desk area with a shape and that sort of thing, and then you go
So it's
down.
all open. So how was the theater set up? Like, did you have it set up so it worked as a center channel on its own, or did they have it only with 90s
It was a pre-production, or yeah, a pre-production. It's I guess it's not a
model?
prototype anymore, but like a pre-production version. So
Yeah.
stuff was a bit locked down. The room where the 90s TV or theater and 28s were in is slightly bigger than my living room, but it's way more open, obviously, on every
Mm,
side. Uh, I must say, so there's again, like Sandeep said the other week, the initial setup was the same as everywhere else. It's just different speakers.
okay.
And they don't really have full control over it because it's just they sort of set it up to show it off before the full launch. So you couldn't switch speaker modes other than preset conditions.
Okay.
So the first, like by itself, you couldn't set it as a bar by itself. That was stereo. That's like the music for how you could listen to music. Then you had the sort of surround setup in the triangle with 28's rear, and then you had the full blown surround with 90s and 28s and it as a center. First thing out of the box, it's fucking crazy how well it keeps up with 90s.
Nice. That's good to know. That's
As
good to
in,
hear because that's for me that matters a lot.
they have, for some reason they love that Queen "We Will Rock You" bit from the movie, right? That and then it
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
all of a sudden into the theater, and then there's this whoomp of everybody, like thousands of people doing it, and we were sitting there, and obviously 90s being 90s, like fuck, my clothes moved.
And
But if you sort of were listening to that, not looking, the voices sounded equal and pretty much same tonality from like throughout the front range. I couldn't tell much of a difference between the theater and the 90s.
that's awesome.
Like, it was as accurate and as sharp as it needed to be to keep with that. Which was, I mean, a harmony is good. A harmony isn't bad by any means. This is going to sound a lot like the harmony is shit, but it's just the theater is on another level in that sense. I mean, the asterisk obviously is that I'm not often at this dealer, so I don't fully understand how the room sounds there.
Yeah, but in the harmony, you also pay a lot for the magical movement, right? And the speakers are kind of just set in within that. Like, there's no way to have up-firing drivers and shit because there's nowhere to put them.
Yeah,
So it's impossible for that, right?
but that's
That defeats
not
a
needed
completely
for
different purpose.
Atmos. Yeah, it's a different thing altogether. But I mean, I came back after this thinking like I'm just going to listen for an hour or two to just the harmony and nothing else. And how the theater handles bass is so much easier. It's so much smoother than
Oh, no doubt.
than a harmony can. And I actually think I prefer the bass of the theater to the 28s. It's smoother. It's not as attacking. It's
You know what I find a little weird that also has been pointed out to me, and I find it very weird actually. That why would you advertise to have rear speakers that are double the price of the front? Right, like they're saying buy a theater and then 228, a pair of 28s for the back. Like you can't tell me that the theater is that good that you don't need fronts. Like for proper theater, I think the theater needs the fronts and the backs. You know, like put 28s at the front and then 18s in the back.
you'll find out once you have it in the shop there. Um, the reason
Is it
being,
that much mind fuckery going on, like with psychoacoustics, that that you having a hard time perceiving where left and
yes,
right is?
yes,
No shit.
it's so the 28s in the rear version are the surround speakers, but not totally. There's some audio fuckery going in there where there, even when there's no signal going there, they're still sort of active to fill up the range that the theater can't, well, or has a harder time doing. So
They step in basically.
yeah, so when you listen to like a harmony or an eclipse and you have your 28's rears, if there's nothing playing in the rear, they're not playing anything. If you listen to a 5.1 or 7.1 source. But with the theater, they're basically more or less always playing. It's just to the point where you don't really notice them playing when there's not supposed to be coming anything from the rear. But when stuff happens at the rear, then all of a sudden it's like, fuck, there's speakers behind me.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued about that in listening to this thing properly.
So
Like, I don't know how many stages. I mean, stages. I mean, I don't know how many theaters we get, but I would love to put it in the like in a showroom. There is a little side area where it's wide enough to just have the theater on its own, and then just put a set of 28s at the back to do it, and just to see what it sounds like. Because Like I understand now when I don't understand because I haven't heard it, right? Like I just don't know how much psychoacoustic and algorithm is actually in to what it does.
Yeah. So I see over on Twitch somebody asked maybe a small room. The sort of room bit of the open thing I was in was at least 6 by 6 meters. So it's not small. That's a pretty sizable living room. If I had to guess, it was probably about maybe more closer to 7 by 7, which is pretty large for a living room. I mean, the 90s there. The thing is, because it's a pre-production model and the way it was set up, I wasn't allowed to take any pictures because they didn't want to steal the show from other dealers, which I'm totally okay with. So I told them I'll come back in like 2-3 weeks and I'll do a video. Because you have to see this room. Like the 90s stood a good 1.5 2 meters from the left wall and at least a meter from the back wall. And it didn't feel like they were very in the room at all. So, I mean, obviously, this left me very much annoyed because I had to listen to the fucking 90s again. And it's like, God damn it, don't have these things at home.
Well, fuck, I moved the set on the Friday, man. So imagine it feels bad that I'm going to come in there tomorrow and set them up and then cry. Go home and cry. Fuck. But my container's on the way. I called it on Thursday, and I'm like, haven't heard shit from anybody. Where is stuff, right? And she's like, no, it's on the move. It'll be there within 2 weeks. So here's the weird part. I'm paying, if I were to move the container directly from Calgary to Florida,
yeah,
it would have cost me 13,500 Canadian dollars to do that. That's what the quote was.
Yeah.
If I do it from Montreal to Miami, it's $7,000. So I'm doing like 3.5 plus 7 is 10,500 minus the 13, I guess. So I'm saving like 2.5 grand.
Oh, that's not too bad then.
Yeah, but it's just it's really, I guess everything depends on the fuel pricing too, right?
Yeah.
That's the worst part. That's the biggest variable right now.
Yeah.
Fuel pricing.
Coming back to the Harmony, actually, in a room that big with just the theater up front and 28s playing, it was actually okay. It wasn't underpowered for such a big room, which was in many ways kind of amazing because if you're into like minimalism, that's like very minimalist because 28s aren't large by no means.
No.
I mean, if you wanted more, the bass was still good. It wasn't obviously the ultimate rumbling authority that 50s or 90s do, but they're also much, much smaller.
Well, that's not a comparison, not a fair comparison.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing that you could maybe not like even begin to compare them to would be a set of 20s, but I think you'd still need a subwoofer with the 28s in order to fairly compete with the set of 20s.
Yeah. So the setup was large, but in the triangle way, it was pretty minimal. One of the things that really surprised me was listening to music on it by itself. The bass was very smooth, and it had a very soft roll off at the bottom end, to the point where it sort of like ebbed away where you stopped hearing it, but it wasn't like an abrupt end.
Can you check your microphone if you're on the right one, just for the shits and giggles?
Yeah, I'll go.
Let's see if you are.
No, I'm not on.
Because you sound like shite, mate.
This one.
There we go. That's more professional.
Well, I mean, I just changed it on Skype, not on the on the OBS streaming stuff.
But yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
yeah,
look now.
now it's proper. So anyway,
Steve asked, did the theater have a bass belly like the 28? No, which was pleasantly surprising because that's one of the things I feared most. It's bassy, but it's like uh, it might just be that for like in the stereo setup, it's the bass drivers and I think probably the center, and that's now a 5-inch driver with that tweeter that sort of built on top of it. And those matched pretty perfectly. By itself, the mid to high end, like B&O's marketing wasn't lying. It actually, like the mid and high end, actually sounded pretty much like a Beolab 50. Now, does it have the ultimate power? Can it go up into the 100 plus dB? Probably not. But other than Willie, I don't know that many people that are that insane to do that often.
just have fun with it, right?
Yeah, but some people also want to keep their hearing for a longer time.
I'm still planning to at some point maybe get married or have a girlfriend, so I'm trying to lose some of mine. So it's easier that way.
So in that sense, no, I actually prefer the sound of the theater for music over the 28s personally. Because the 28s, like if you do for people that don't know, a frequency sweep, like if this is 0, the line goes sort of nothing, and then flat again. The 28s seemed a lot flatter. It could be that it's still a bit, but that the rest is also pretty strong. That it's a bit more balanced in that way. I mean, and this, again, probably sounds like the 28s are bad, but they're not. They're just their own thing, and they don't have a 5-inch driver for mid-range frequencies. They have tiny drivers that work excellently, but it's a compromise for the slim stature.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so there's that. I must say, in that room with the demos we heard, because it was a bit quick, I didn't notice much of the Atmos stuff as such, but I also don't know if the demo I heard was fully Atmos enabled.
Yeah, that's also another. Yeah, the question's always source.
I mean, obviously this is a pretty massive room, and it was with a pre-production model that they didn't have much input over of themselves, because the three speaker groups that you could have on that thing were preset by default, and they couldn't change it. Just the only thing you could change was the speakers that are attached to it and the room compensation mic thingy.
Mm-hmm.
So can I call this a review? Not really. It's more of a first listen, first impressions kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's pretty insane that it had no issue, because the dealer, I think, loves to show off his stuff. And he, with the Queen We Will Rock You thing, he just put it to like, I don't know, 70 or something on the volume dial, which is pretty loud.
Yeah, that's pushing it for especially for the 28.
But in this setup, it seemed fine. Like nothing clipped. The theater just was happy, it seemed.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't overpoweringly loud. Nothing distorted from any channel. So yeah, the way B&O envisaged it with a theater up front and 28's rears, I can definitely see people using it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, the price is hard to sort of talk about, because what are you buying? Because depending on how you buy it and want to use it, everything changes. if you want the TV experience, that's a lot more expensive than if you want them separated on a wall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want that floor stand magic, that's even more expensive because the floor stand is €2,800.
Fuck.
I mean, it's one of the more expensive floor stands I think they've ever done. I don't know if that's the times with hard to get materials and stuff like that, or if it's just they don't think they'll sell that many on floor stands. That could also be a potential thing, right? Like the more you make, the cheaper it gets.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna end up with it on a floor stand.
I bet still a lot of people will, but because so if you have like a 77-inch version on a floor stand, that most likely will run you in the neighborhood of 17 grand. But if you have a 77 on the wall and you're okay with separated, that will most likely run you in the area of 11, which is a substantial difference. And
Yeah.
I've personally found with like 77, like I have like with screens that large, you need to move them less.
Mm.
And it's becoming ever more normal to get massive panels because they're becoming quite cheap. I mean, it's still more expensive than a 55, obviously, but I mean, even an 83-inch TV isn't all that expensive anymore. I mean, I can look it up right now. Let's see.
I'm hoping to God that they make freaking like proper walnut lamellas for it. And if not, I wonder if Prestige could make them custom. Because they're basically going to be a screw on the back. Like they finally got to look at like how the 50s lamellas are put together and all that. Like you just need to be very meticulous with making it, and it's doable.
So I'm looking right now. An LG G2, so current year 83-inch TV is €4,600 right now.
Hmm.
Which, if I were to compare that when the Harmony launched, it's already €400 cheaper than the 77 was in December.
Hmm.
Because, yeah, the LG is just becoming more efficient at making a lot more large screens. It's, which is, I like it. It's weird. There were a few 55-inch TVs there, and it's like, these are tiny. now, because I've been used to 77 for so long, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is such a letterbox. Like, are we going to sit like this?
But yeah, if you get a 77, apparently it also helps the sound from the theater, right? Because it's got more.
According to B&O, the wings themselves, 65 or 77, work. To sort of, because that wall is like immediately there and it's a known
Mm-hmm.
quantity, to sort of better acoustically shape the audio into the room.
Mm-hmm.
The dealer I spoke to is adamant, I'm not sure how correct he is, but that he could potentially fit an 83-inch on there. Because it's still the same VESA standard as the 77-inch is.
No, there is a max TV weight that you can do on it, and I think it's
He said he's going to try for us and he'll report back.
okay.
Because he says the difference in weight between the 77-inch G2 or C2 and the G83 inches is like 5 kilos. Like,
But that's doing it on a table stand?
no, on the floor stand.
Oh, fuck.
So
That's
they're going to be
different.
brave and they'll let us know if that works or not.
That's a bravery, all right, for sure.
So I'll report back on that eventually. But yeah, some of that Sia music and whatnot, those extremely high female vocal voices, they're so
Yeah.
sharp. They're so, like, you can hear the timbre in their voices. like way better than you can on the Harmony. The Harmony sounds
Mm-hmm.
good, but it sort of softens it and makes it more sort of jello-y. If
Mm-hmm. So these are
like
more precise. It's like a Lab 1 precision, more or less.
it's very close to, yes. That's kind of what it made me think of. Like it's getting closer to Lab 1 precision without becoming so harsh,
Mm-hmm.
which is personally what I like a lot. I like that Beosound.
I think it's iconic in my eyes or ears, I guess.
Yeah,
Just
well, fives weren't like that. Fives were like woolly and mushy a bit.
yeah, they were all over the map though. As far as the rock and roll goes, they handle everything perfectly from music to movies.
Yeah, but that like that ultra high end, like the violin shit, they sort of make that a bit more easy to listen to. It's not so ear piercing like where the ones at the day would like shatter an eardrum.
Mm. But yeah, I don't know. I would probably end up at the 77-inch variant of it, maybe a 65.
I haven't put an order in yet, partially because I don't know what to order yet because of moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I was moving next month, I would put an order in and hope to God it would come in time, and and just have it as is and with the wall bracket that comes in the box. Because in the US, I very much like to have it either separated on the wall
Or
or
high on the wall.
above my fireplace, obviously.
That's right. I want the TV 3 inches away from the ceiling.
I mean, I'm going to remodel my house so the fireplace is equidistant to like the 83-inch wide.
Right.
But no,
Yeah.
in the US, we're most likely going to have it on the wall, either on a cabinet that's on the wall or like separated on the wall or some variant thereof.
Mm-hmm.
But here, it's like I, it's too much fuss. So this is partially why I'm holding off because I don't feel like before moving making Swiss cheese out of that wall.
Oh fuck. Plus, yeah, you'd still see the wires because you're gonna have to run surface. You're not gonna do channels and stuff. So I
No.
would just leave that as it is, and then just
So I would probably have to talk to my dealer if I could potentially borrow a floor stand for a month or two.
oh for your if you traded the Harmony bottom and just keep the screen for now.
Yeah, like could I borrow like a floor stand for a theater for like a month or two? I'll promise I'll keep it clean. I mean,
So
I'll pay you half otherwise, but I won't need it in the US.
maybe you'll buy another theater. Maybe you will do. Maybe you're
Yeah.
gonna have your little whatever hangout room and shit. But put another theater in there. I think that thing is gonna sell fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's
I think it's a game changer soundbar that they came up with now.
in terms of having it seen in real life. Like I said, I saw the version with a 65-inch screen mounted on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like aspect ratios of everything, the 65-inch version does make the most amount of sense to me visually. They didn't have a 77, but it looks like an awful lot of like wing that's not really doing anything.
It's improving the sound, bro.
Yeah, some I saw some people asking on Discord before, like, is it too reflective? And no, you don't really notice it. It's very shiny, and you can see yourself in it
Mm-hmm.
if you really want to. But like, how often do you do that to your TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the idea is that your eyes are sort of level with the center of the screen and not with the soundbar.
Isn't a theater a bit short on outputs, having a 7.1.4 system. So that's 12 speakers. It's got 16 or no, 4 power link outputs. So that's 8 speakers. So you can do that. and then it's got another 8 WiSA speakers. So you have 16 out.
7.1.4 is pretty crazy in terms of an Atmos system.
Mhm.
And I was thinking about this over the week and over the last. I sort of understand it with Denon and that sort of thing, where you get like the sort of built-in speakers, the sort of wooden boxes type deals, right? Where you want like 22 speakers or something around you.
Mhm.
In terms of like with B&O, wouldn't you rather get better speakers and have fewer of them? Like at some point, like after you have like 18s and 28s, is your next purchase going to be another set of 18s, or are you potentially going to go 50s or another set of 28s for the 7.1 or whatever you want to call it?
Mhm.
I mean, I think the biggest problem really is that they don't have a ceiling speaker or anything that mounts to the ceiling at the moment. So, I mean, maybe they should look at something like that. But, I mean, if you sort of price compare, and it's gone a bit weird with the price increases, but you could sort of compare 450s versus 7.1 and 28s.
Mm.
Especially if you're okay with secondhand market. And at that point, I think I'd rather have less speakers.
He says he's got a bunch of legacy piano speakers. So, dude, these goes all the tuning in the theater goes all the way back down to the pentas, for God's sakes. So, like, you will have, and it'll actually make them sound better because it'll tune them for the room that they're in.
Yeah,
So,
they still sell receiver ones.
exactly. So you can still, if you want some of them that are not going to, if you have too many, that's a good problem to have. But if you got 8 power line speakers coming out of that, man, that's a lot of goddamn speakers. And some of them could be just like at Mikey's house, is just put them as high channels, and you won't need much more because the true image, in my opinion, works much better and it's much more intelligent than the Dolby Atmos sticker has been placed on most of the receivers and stuff.
Yeah, so this is dual layer. This has Atmos and then True Image on top of it.
That's right.
Which is to me the best of both worlds, really.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget though that with 7.1.4, you could use the up-firing speakers in the theater as your first point zero x point to x point 2
Mm-hmm.
type situation. And that's
I'm
partially.
very interested in how that actually is going to sound altogether once you have the shit hooked up with a whole bunch of different speakers and tune it for the room. I'm very,
I mean, if you.
very interested.
The only problem with WiSA personally, I really have, is that if you have way too many neighbors, like I do.
Apartment setup, it just doesn't work as good.
Yeah.
Neither do any wireless networks. Because at some point, somebody is within the reach that is just has to be on your channel, and it's the shit. So, but
yeah, so there's that. How many people will go for will populate that? I doubt very many. Like, how many people will actually do 8 speakers plus a few on WiSA?
not many, very few.
And like I
but
said,
yeah, there are a couple extremists, as we would be called. But
yeah, I know I am one, but
at the in honestly, like who buys this, they're gonna buy it for either they're gonna go full tits and full bore, or they're just gonna buy that and maybe a set of 18s with it, or 28s, and or in the future they buy something else to add to it. But I see that system being also sold as a lot as a standalone with the TV, just like this is end all and be all soundbar that does everything, right?
yeah. I mean, in the
So
B&O world, I see people over their lifetime generally upgrading a lot more than expanding.
mhm.
Meaning, if
But
they
this is a great
whatever they have, they upgrade it rather than keep it and get more of the same.
this is a great Beosystem 3 replacement for people that, or not Beosystem 3, but more or less like BeoVision 755.
Yeah.
If because that was all in, right? System 3 usually was somewhere on the rack or something. So like that's the problem then with power links, that you don't have them going to where you need them. So that feels bad. But if the System 3 is in the same room, let's say that everything else was, then you can just extend the PLs and put them into the new theater. You have a brand new screen with an insane sound, and then you still recycle your old or legacy speakers that you bought, maybe years ago. Maybe you got them from somewhere. Who cares? So I like that upcycling idea from B&O.
Yeah, I mean, it's in general, I think B&O customers are peculiar. So if you're the person that buys everything on the secondhand market, like how are they supposed to take account of you?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not really their customer. You love them, but I mean, it's like having a massive Lego collection that you bought off of like
eBay.
eBay, yeah. It's like Lego is never really going to know you as a customer.
No, the guy that you bought it from will, but that's about it. So yeah, it's a little different.
But yeah, I mean, the direct customers. Take some, like Hendrik's DJ friend, right, with 490s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does he need more speakers? It's already too much for the room it's in my opinion, but...
Fuck. I'd hate to move that guy, man.
But
just...
it's one of those, I think he started with 50s and then something rare and then went like 90s 50, and now it's 4 times 90, right? Like he...
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of what I mean with, like, instead of expanding, you upgrade. That seems to be the sort of general way to go for a lot of B&O's customers.
Yes. But they also downcycled their gear, right? So like if you had 8000s and you bought, let's say, Lab 9s back in the day, you never really sold the 8000 and traded those things in. You just moved them into the back of the fucking TV room, and now they're, oh yeah, sweet, now it's around.
Yeah.
Like I rarely ever had people that they gave away speakers or traded them for other speakers. They just always, they always just upgraded or added towards their system, right?
Maybe I can pull this.
No, I'm not pondering the extra 90s. I'm really excited for that theater. That's what I'm really excited for, and I'm really excited for having that thing hooked up to my 90s. And maybe I'll go full crazy and I'll just go through the bespoke department and order the walnut with a white cloth grill just to match the 90s completely. I'll probably pay more for that than the goddamn theater itself, but who cares? I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah, let me know, because I think I have an idea. Because I kind of want to know, like, if you have a B&O TV, like, what's the system attached to it?
I guess I'm a 5.1, but I don't have the 0.1.
No, but you get what I mean. Like,
yeah,
with 90s or 50s or even 20s, like, the subwoofer is kind of pointless.
Well, I don't think it adds anything to anything.
Yeah, but like you have the bass. Like the 0.1 means subwoofer, and it's like I have a 5.0 system, and the non-B&O people will think, "Oh, you don't have a sub." It's like, yeah, because it's not needed. Like, it's not going to do anything. But this is where the general terminology is a bit weird in B&O versus the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is so clever in bass redirecting. And this is something I really want to experience with the theater, how it makes it all talk. Because the thing they say is that nothing will ever be like in each other's phase and cancel each other's out, right? Like, that's a massive game changer for this many speakers, or if you have different capable speakers mixed together. So I really want to see how that goes, because even if you mix 17s and 18s, it's going to sound okay, but there is an overlap period where they're sort of fighting each other, because they're so differently capable.
Mm-hmm.
David, you don't count. You always answer our polls wrong anyway.
Oh, is LG defined as a B&O TV? No, it's not. I guess the only thing that defines LG as a B&O TV is when you have a stage or a theater underneath it with an app installed, and then it just gives you the interface. Which I kind of like that they took out that blue or pink.
It depends on what you define as the TV, because the screen is not the TV per se.
That's right.
And I also asked BeoVision or B&O TV, which is more BeoVision. So if you have a 7.1.4 with B&O speakers and an LG C9, you don't have a B&O TV. So this poll is not for you.
Mm.
I mean, I appreciate that you love B&O speakers, but B&O aims at B&O people, and the main thing to aim for is with a TV, because it's still to this day, it's the hub of the whole home, really.
That's right. It became the hub of the whole house. I think, very in a very essential way, with the Beosystem 4 chassis. Once the network link was introduced and multi-room, multi-source was introduced, and they finally got all the kinks out of the system, and it fucking worked perfectly as it does now. I think that was the biggest game changer since the Masterlink, because Masterlink was just single source multi-room, right? So you could listen to the 9000 in one room and watch the TV in the other, or vice versa. But I think with the network link, obviously, they just took it to a next level, which is awesome.
Yeah, so far the leading are 3.0/3. Like it's a TV with speakers attached to it, or 5.1 with a surround sound system. I mean, I guess 3.0 could also be TV and rear speakers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would change that. I would change the Denon thing for the B&O theater in a heartbeat. I don't know what you have for the center channel, but I'm assuming it's either a 7.2 or 7.1 or 7.4 or Beolab 10 maybe. So if you replace that, or like if it's a 7.2, I would just throw it in the back and call it a back.
You could. I'm not sure it's needed, but
the backs and surrounds work awesome, but he's already got a 7.2. Excuse me, 7.1.4. So you already have, the surrounds and the back surrounds, plus the subwoofer, and plus I guess the 4 ceiling speaker.
Yeah, 7.4 with Pentas works.
Oh, bro, that would probably sound sick. I think, especially if the theater does its own magic, and sprinkles a little sparkly sauce with the tuning. I think that would sound sick. I think the Pentas might actually have treble then.
Potentially, yeah.
Or like proper treble, I guess. So
yeah, so I mean, I'll get actually to what my girlfriend said about the theater, because she wrote some stuff down. It's not really like an essay or something, but
did you rip out a page out of her diary or what?
No, I just asked her last night, like, could you have a think about this? Like, what do you think? Like, write it when I'm not there. Like, I don't care if you agree, disagree, or
yeah.
Like, let me know what you think about it, because it's handy to know. I think also for
the waff.
Yeah, because
the waffling.
As I can tell, it's our viewers are something like 90% men. So, and we may get very excited about it, but if the lady of the house walks in and goes, "Oh," every time, you're gonna have a bad day.
You're fucked, is what that in polite terms. You're fucked, bro. Feels bad. Anyways, go ahead.
So one of the first things, apparently, is that what I keep telling everybody about 77-inch TVs, she apparently now agrees. The 65 looked kind of small.
Oh, I'm
As
sure it would.
as in the ratios look the best, but the 77-inch what we have here is kind of now normal. So when we both now look at a 65-inch TV, it sort of looks like the Eclipse size we had, and we had a 55 when that looked huge.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're ever in doubt about should I get 65 or 77, probably go 77. Give it 2 weeks, and you're going to be so accustomed to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's to the point where I want to go bigger. And she's actually not opposed to that anymore. So that's
Well, especially if you guys are movie buffs, then it just makes sense. Like,
thank you, me or Paul in Scotland. Yeah, she says the 77-inch Harmony seemed enormous when we got it from a 55-inch Eclipse, but got used to it. To her, the theater sounds very impressive. The sound is better than the Harmony. It's clearer, sharper voices, and the sound is sort of more. And I take this to sort of mean like it's more rounded coming from the center channel when the TV is playing.
mm-hmm.
So, quick little addition for my personal experience, where the Harmony, the when you have it as a center setup, right?
Yes.
The tweeter and the mid range, there is, I don't know, about a space like that in between, and it is sort of noticeable that female and male voices come from a slightly different place. With this composite tweeter / mid-range driver in one solution they put in the middle, it's literally single point, like there it is, if it needs to be fully dead center. And it's quite impressive for that. She was kind of shocked when the 90s played with Queen, because I literally am not lying when I say, like, fuck, like you felt your t-shirt move when that
the 90s, bro, man.
Came in.
Yeah, you can't fuck around with the 90s, my man. That's the given.
She says the aluminium wings are pretty on the 65, but any bigger and they would look too much. She loves how the 55-inch version looks, but it would probably look too small under a 65 or 77-inch screen, which I sort of get. Actually, she shares the same contention with a lot of people on the forum, that she's sort of semi-bothered by the fact that the oak doesn't extend with a wider screen, that ratio doesn't stay the same.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't think she'd been on the Discord, and I don't think I told her that. So it's kind of interesting to see that, like, independently people come to that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the 55-inch version theater, like as in the theater itself, looks the best. 65-inch looks good. 77-inch, she was very unsure of. Needs to see it in real life, but feels like it's too much aluminium left and right. Likes the floor stand a lot, and we did see the floor stand yesterday. I must say the floor stand looks smaller than it is on paper, and it really looks good.
Yeah, I think it will look awesome. What about the back? What about the cable management? How's that worked out?
For the cable management on the back, I didn't see it because the one in the showroom with the 90s and stuff was on the table stand. There was another one hidden somewhere in the corner where we got a sneak peek of just the floor stand, but it was like all draped over. And I didn't get to see the cable management behind it. I have a feeling there's like zip tie channel bits down the back of that sort of what people call the iMac stand.
Yeah.
What
I
she
think it'll look good though. I
yeah,
honestly.
she thinks the Harmony is a lot prettier than the theater, even as a TV concept. She also likes for the Harmony that the TV is so much more hidden when it's off, which, depending on the size you go for, is obviously more impactful. Because a 65-inch hidden on a Harmony is not as like a massive black thing gone versus 77 or larger. So that kind of makes sense.
Hmm.
I'm not even reading chat. Enjoy your Beosound 1, Paul. And have a good night. uh, yeah, so she says a 77 is quite big, and that black screen is, in terms of interior design, somewhat off-putting if it's on a white wall or anything like in a lighter room. And that's why she prefers the look of the Harmony, because it just contracts that and it's way
Hmm.
less offensive to look at. Uh, in terms of a pure looks perspective, the horizontal wood, like when the Harmony's open, the wood goes that way, and on the theater goes
Hmm.
vertical. She likes the horizontal a lot better. Also, the spacing is to her a lot nicer, because the Harmony, the like the spacing is like that. With the theater, you have like gaps of, I don't know, at least a
Quite a bit.
centimeter.
Yeah.
She likes the tighter, better, smaller spaced out wood a lot better. She actually compared it more to the prestige cover we have on our stage, and
Hmm.
it's I had an idea to at some point get rid of that for some 12s, and she forbade me because she likes it so much now.
Nice. Nice.
And a lot of that is to do with the prestige cover on it. So,
Yeah,
damn
it
you,
does look good, man.
prestige!
Ruin his plan. That's funny.
uh, in terms of sound compared to a stage, it's not really worth, according to her, it's not really worth comparing it. It's like it's on another level.
Hmm.
Like she couldn't really put a number to it, but it's sort of like there's no reason to compare the stage to this because like it's not the same. So if you like a stage, keep your stage. This is me saying it, and if it's enough for you, that's perfectly fine. Because I mean, the stage is already overkill in the bedroom for most people. It's
Yeah.
way too loud if need be. A theater will do the same and it will sound better, but you're never really using its potential. But
No.
so yeah, I asked her like, so what do you think about like if you were to buy it, like if I were to send you away with some money and I told you to come back with a TV, and it had to be either the Theater 77 or the Harmony, what would you do? And without knowing any prices, she was really torn because the audio prowess of the theater was so uh, evident
Hmm.
that she leaned that way, but the Harmony is very nice to listen to. Uh, Once I told her, like, if our Harmony as it currently stands, that's, I think, 20.5 grand. And the theater as a TV experience is, I think, 17 from memory. And then it was like, oh, I get the theater. So
Mm.
that was kind of interesting. Uh, then I told her, like, if you want it wall mounted and like separate on a wall, American walls, and hidden your cables in the wall, that's probably more like 11. And then it was like, oh, that's an easy choice, theater all day.
There you go.
So I thought that was interesting information, both for me and probably for what a lot of you guys, significant others, most likely think. Uh, about this. I mean, there's two ways of going about it, right? Like, you can ask for forgiveness later and just buy it and hang it, and you'll see what happens. Or you can play open card and just take her with.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the latter is where I landed. And I guess if you compare it that way, it actually doesn't seem that expensive because, in actual fact, it is not. But it's very hard, in general, to talk about price for the theater because you have 1,001 options.
Yeah.
Are you messing with your color balance or something? What are you doing?
What do you mean I'm messing with color balance?
Like you go from
I'm
sort
trying
of
to log in.
yellowy orange to like normal
Weird.
white.
Nothing. I'm just trying to get my fucking. This is ridiculous. I'm trying to sign into a Microsoft store so I can download the Dolby Access app so I can actually use this dongle. And I've just done it 13 fucking times and I'm done. So I'm not having Dolby on this phone, on this computer. It's over. Anyways, you got my attention now. Fuck. So piss off, Microsoft.
For people that can't be bothered with the video version, I'll go upload the Substack later. And
there you go.
Audio.
Don't have to look at my face. This is all audio from now.
I mean, like, occasional interesting info of like Beano's press releases I'll put up here and stuff like that. Or if you're really angry and want to write a bit scolding them, let me know. I'll happily put that up too. It's, again, one of these community things in my mind. So if you want to be an aspiring writer about B&O, happy to host you.
Yeah.
Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you. On all platforms, for that matter.
There you go. Yeah, I'm ended up at the theater for sure. I am dead set on it now. I'm quite looking forward to it as well, because that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, to me the craziest bit was how good it was still at base in a room that large with just it and 28s and no subwoofer, no nothing. Like, I understand a lot of B&O people like minimalism, and that's about as minimal for the maximum amount of sound you can go.
Yes.
And I can actually, like, for most of Europe, I see that as an insanely good option. Because a lot of living rooms are quite narrow, especially in cities. Because, I mean, there's just not as much space as there is in North America.
Yes.
Like, something like in cities especially, like almost all houses are attached to each other, and a wide house is 5 meters wide. So that interior means, like, you have a hallway that's a meter wide, so you have your living room is generally next to it, so that's like 4 meters wide. So to have a theater and some 28s more or less here, that's going to give you massive amounts of volume and envelopment. I mean, I'm quite excited for that. I really want to see also how it looks at my own dealer, because his sort of TV setup area has that sort of more narrow look that, like, his store is enormous, or not, maybe not as enormous as the store was in, but pretty large. But where he shows off TVs is quite a common sort of size for a lot of houses here in the city, which is partially why it took me fucking ever to find the place we're in now, because a lot of living rooms in the city sort of end at the back of the corner couch here, and then you have from the couch to there, and that's your width, right, from the couch to this wall. And being a surround sound lover, that just didn't work for me, because, I mean, I know it work, like, sort of in Eric's Murphy's room works, but if you, like, go like that and your 18s are sort of here, they're already sort of past you. They're not really surround anymore.
No, they should be about 120 degrees. Is basically the angle that they should be behind you at.
More or less, yes. So yeah, it's really impressive. I can't wait to get my hands on one. It's just for me, I really need to figure out what to do in both places and how to get that done.
Well, it's not going to be hard in US, like it's all paper walls. So
No, but it's like, why do I have to buy a floor stand if I'm only going to use it for 3 months? Then again, I may become pro partner or something like that. So is it even worth buying it here instead of just like as a stock product that you need to buy anyway to become to become
the partner? Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see where we end up with that.
I'm gonna be definitely there by the time you come over, so we can figure something out.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
'Cause how long are you gonna plan on moving? Like, how long do you think until you guys start pulling the trigger on getting the fuck out? Like early next year?
Yeah, January, February, something like that.
Okay.
Probably. Well, it depends a bit on if we have a buyer, right? Like if nobody buys this place, we're kind of stuck with it. So there's like the rental market is currently shit. And the city where I live now says this place is too inexpensive to rent out. So I'm not allowed to rent it out, which is bizarre.
That's so weird.
Yeah, it's not expensive enough. It's like you need to be, I don't know, in terms of percentages, something like 25% more expensive than this place is before you're allowed to rent anything out, because somehow they say that fucks too much with the cheaper rental market if I could rent this out.
Oh wow.
But they may change that, and they revise that rule of what is too expensive every 6 months or so. So it's like,
That's so stupid. Yeah, that's so stupid.
so
Vagabond's asking a question: when connecting Parliament cable, can they be run? Which speakers are we talking about? First of all,
sorry,
so
when connecting the PowerLink cable, can they run to a patch panel in a technical room using Cat7 cabling? And secondly,
yes,
is it possible to connect all speakers through a switch? Through a
if they're
switch?
28s,
No. Not for not.
28s you could through the DPL just to put them on the network, just hardwire them. You could do them for a switch. You know, they don't have to talk to one another through one another.
Yeah, but then you're on WISA, right?
Yeah. Well, if you got Cat7 running everywhere, then you can basically feed them PowerLink through the technical room if you're running that cable.
But
So
but if it needs to go through a technical cable room, it's almost easier to just like make a loop and come back to wherever you need to go.
yeah, but if you got a freaking wire that let's say you have a BeoVision 11 on the wall, right? And everything's going into the technical room, and from there it's just a patch over to go another cable to wherever the speakers are, because it's not going from the TV directly. Then that's probably what he's asking, and that's the way to do it. On Cat7, you can run anything that BNO requires, from Masterlink all the way to PowerLink, all the way to network and HDMI extenders, and even VGA you can run on a freaking Cat7. So
Yeah, so a Cat7 cable runs both left and right channel for whatever that means. That can be surround left, right, ceiling left, right. The left, right can also be differently configured, as in left front, right rear, as long as they're not 50s or in their 90s. Can you do it? Yes. Is it optimal? No, I'd rather run it directly, personally.
I run it speaker to speaker if you have an ability to do that instead of just going through the switches and shit. but because each speaker essentially is a little mini switch within itself.
Yeah, but
So
28s don't have that option. You need that splitter thing for it.
to feed the power links, yes.
Yes.
Or you can just occupy 2 power link slots on your TV and have one speaker out of each, which kind of
Sure,
feels bad.
could work too, but it's I mean, there's a lot of possibilities, but as a general statement, because it's a very generic question, I would rather run it directly than go through a technical room on switches and that sort of thing. Can it be done? Yes. Is there room for fuckery? Also, yes.
You could still run it through the technical room, but you just patch it through to each speaker. So you're just basically running a longer cable between them. But
Yeah.
that's about it. But I would avoid like switches and like, yeah, well, you don't avoid the switch because your first and primary speaker has to, like, I would hardwire the network into it and hardwire from it to the second speaker. If you gotta go through the technical room to go to second speaker, then you bypass the fucking switch. You just go with the little jumper cable and you go to the location where the plug is for the second speaker. Done. And if they're in PowerLink mode, then I guess you're gonna run a PowerLink cable from the whatever TV system or processor over the Cat7 into that primary speaker again, and then it's gonna start to feel bad because now you got 3 Cat7 cables going in there and start to get pretty chunky.
A lot of the signals for PowerLink are still analog on even on Cat7. So
Of course they are.
yeah, but as in terms of like if you want to run it through a technical room, if the technical room is a bit further away, it's possible, but just keep in mind that you get some signal deterioration after more than 22 meters of cable run.
I would call bullshit on that, brother. I've done it in houses that I have no issues whatsoever. And
Is
I'm
it
running
perceivable?
like,
But would you hear it if it's more than, I don't know, 30, 35 meters? Potentially. I mean, I wouldn't do it with 90s or 50s or even 28s, personally. If it's with 17s and 18s, I may care a bit little less, but...
well, between the 90s, I wouldn't even run the B&O's product cable. I would run something of a higher grade, like Audio Quest or something that is,
Yeah.
solid braid.
Yeah, and
Or solid strands, I guess.
Herr Vagabond says,
instead of
Steve
braid.
said that every connector may decrease signal strength. Yeah, that's also correct.
Yes.
Because it's a physical break every time.
And you're also now up against potential corrosion and stuff on the connectors from in and out. If there's a lot of dust where the dust gets sucked into the ports, and then if you connect, sometimes it's not that I don't recommend it. I personally would never do it like that. I would run whatever needs to be ran into the technical room goes to the technical room, and whatever is running from a TV per se into where we know and agreed that there's going to be speakers, all that shit is running from the TV. If there's going to be in-ceiling speakers, well, it feels bad because you're going to run the power links. I would run the power links from the TV down into the technical room where you have the BO amps too, and go out into the in-ceiling speakers wherever those are at. That's how I would do it. That's, I think, it should be done properly. And if you're like a crazy audiophile and you have problems with it, that it's too far for a signal, then plan B would be we put an on-wall cabinet where the amplifiers go, and we agree on certain artwork or whatever that will cover that up, and you never see that again. And that's where all your shit would be. So there are plenty of ways to do it, and especially with B&O, because when you're doing, and at least when I do B&O, a lot of the things there's always something custom that has to happen in order for it to be cool, right? That's just the nature of the beast, man. Like you can't change it, and I don't want to change it because I like the challenge of it.
But once it's done properly, it's done well, and
it's done for good.
Yeah. By the way, I have a Leogram 2. because our
I think I
friend,
saw that on the Instagram. Nice.
yeah, just so I said I would show it off because this is obviously very restored again, new hood and
Is
custom.
that somebody's or is it his again that he just
He put
got?
it up for sale, I think. I think
Okay.
you can buy it from B&O Helsinki, or you can give him a call and buy directly off of him. But
I would just be risking shipping it here because I have a client that like they are dying for one of these. But
but surely you can pack it in 5 foot of foam.
well, I know how to pack B&O properly so it doesn't get broken. But I just for a journey like this, it would be something that I would definitely pack it in a way that the bladder is not even fucking inside. Of course, needles
Oh, he sold it
gone.
already. Congratulations, Leo.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I figured you wouldn't have a hard time selling that. Are you working on another one again, or this is it?
He actually has a new website, beobyleo.com.
Oh, dude, you're gonna get fucked over soon
I told him
by
that, and he was like, I'll send my wolf onto them because his dog looks like a fucking wolf.
yeah, but you will get pulled down. I can guarantee you that. My Bio Calgary website got pulled down. Well, not got pulled down. I got threatened with fucking lawsuits, and I'm not interested just because I'm working now with BNO to start a war legally with them. So I just pulled my website down.
Yeah, I told him apparently he found a few other websites that have Bio in it, but no affiliation to B&O or that sort of thing whatsoever.
Hmm. Well, yeah, because people go by the Beowulf or whatever, right? Which was the movie.
Yeah. Well, it's also a very old fairy tale of Beowulf. I think it's one of these
So
guys that fights the Scandinavian gods or something. If I'm...
so
Welcome at me/Paul as a member.
nice.
You have a bunch of stuff to catch up on the Monday streams of nonsense. I think we're at for people that haven't become a member yet, you have missed 83
One
streams.
probably or 83. That's it for me because I'm working tomorrow again, right? So I have a fucking Monday to Friday job now.
Yeah, I'll
So
see what I do with that. Currently, it's also if once you're done at like I don't know, let's say 6 p.m. That's fucking late for me.
hmm
And
well, I wouldn't be done that late, but most of the time,
no, but you need
yes.
to eat, and
Yeah, yeah.
I mean you need to go to the food store at some point. And
So it's yeah, feels bad, too bad, so sad, fucking. But I don't got no time, bro. It's BNO or fucking streaming, and I'm choosing BNO. Oh shit.
well, it's the same thing, almost. But I
Maybe in Florida, I think that they have Mondays closed the shop, so that's kind of gonna
yeah,
change.
a lot
But
of
we'll
shops
see.
do that. I've noticed. By the way,
Hmm.
Leo now fully has perfected making new dust covers and the aluminium strip around it. That's his
Sick.
work. That's not
Yeah, yeah,
refurbished.
yeah.
So you can pick just about any color that acrylic comes in.
That is pretty
I mean,
cool.
if you wanted it, I don't know, flashy pink, it's probably possible.
Get the like that flashy. What is it? That hive is yellow from like the Lego sets from the 80s and shit.
Don't show it to Eric because Eric burns his Lego if he's done.
Uh, that's so funny. But yeah, good job, man. That's awesome. That looks wicked. I wish I had time to do that and skill. I don't even skill tools really in time because that takes a lot of time. I'm
Oh
sure.
yeah, generic enthusiast said, we're missing a big one. Why B&O can't sue Sennheiser and BO. They can't claim BO. The Sennheiser and BO soundbar Also has Beo in it. Oh,
No, but they claim it as a prefix to a word.
so Beowulf is theirs because they're Danish or
I'm
something?
surprised we didn't get fucked up yet with the BeoTalk on YouTube. And we're at it for 4 years now.
I didn't even think of that.
So once you get an email on Monday, like I did fucking a few months ago.
Well, we'll stop promoting you if that's what you want, but just let me know. We can sit here and rag on you every day.
So
I mean, we'll call it the weekly hate segment or something.
mm-hmm. See, yeah, BeoWorld. I don't think BeoWorld has any problems to use with using BNO.
I mean, maybe it was also if people make money off of it, and I mean, as I've said in the beginning of the stream, this doesn't even cover the lights being on.
But what's funny to me and ironic that it's somebody that you guys had working for you that you took that away from them, and they're still going in it to support the people that otherwise would be fucked, which they are now. Well, partially Nick's there, but Nick's got his own job, so now the response is very limited. Where I was sitting around doing fuck all, and somebody calls in, I'm there at the drop of a dime. Or if I'm too busy, sometimes I'll come in the afternoon. Depends on the client, really, because those high ticket play people that I had, like I was always there when it needed to be, especially when the network failed or something, right? Because that's important. So
Yeah, well, now those people have to come from Vancouver,
yeah,
well, the other
well,
side of Canada.
Nick's still there, right? So Nick is helping out, but like I said, it's not going to be easy for him either because he's by himself now. So if he needs somebody, he needs to organize with his buddy to go, and his buddy also has a job. So then it's like feels bad. Like when do you line up something that you can just go out somewhere and now install 2-3 TVs in a day with the guy that's never fucking done it really?
Me/Paul asked, do you know if 2 Beosound 1 will connect to the theater? Okay. For multi-room, yes. For surround sound stereo, no.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Beosound 1s are on the ACA platform, so they're not even on the roadmap for being integrated. Other Mozart speakers, like a balance and stuff, are.
I think they're gonna put a Mozart into the Beosound too. I don't think they're gonna get. I don't think they're gonna disco it.
Ooh, I have a feeling they probably will.
You think so?
Because if one of the raw materials has gone up, it's aluminium. And don't forget the amount of electricity cost involved with that compared to the oak and stuff like that.
So everybody get your theater with the 77-inch fucking wings because that's gonna be worth money.
Well, it's the Beosound 1, right? Or 2 are complex shapes.
They are.
And there's aluminium on the Beosound Theater, but it's just the bottom bit. The rest is all composite, just about.
Mm-hmm.
So the difference is that on the theater they can pretty much make it out of sheathing, and they show it in that French video how they do it, and that's probably a lot more cost effective than having this 3 mil thick thing they have to roll into a perfect conical shape, and then better hope they polish it properly and not mess that up. And
yeah, I wonder what the reject rate was on those cones, especially the silver ones.
Well, that's also another thing. The silver one is actually finally out. They have some actually nice pictures from that. But
the balance in silver.
Yeah, the thing I kept calling Beolab balance because it's basically become a Beolab now.
DJ, I hope to make a core with Monster. I think they should make another player that is, or at least a core Mark 2.0 within Mace, at least the same chassis or something that it fits inside the Beosound shape as it was. And I think they should make something that is a little more smarter on the sound side, and has a little more open to more streaming. I think they should pair up with more streaming platforms, at least here, like Pandora and stuff. It should be there.
Wait, you bought Sound 1's in anthracite color brand. I didn't know. Beosound 1 has been EOL for a bit.
Some dealers probably still sit on some.
Because they're not even on the website anymore.
No.
I mean, also, if you have the anthracite color, that's a really rare color because that came from the Contrast collection.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's hard to find.
Yeah, man.
Like, I'm not sure if you're bought something thinking it was like still current, but on the other hand, you found a holy grail and potentially two of them. Because I still get people in the comments responding on the video when the Contrast collection was out, like, can I still get this somewhere? And it's like, fuck no, this collection ended
it's gone a long time ago,
like 2.5 years ago. And I said in the video, you have 6 months to buy it.
Yeah.
So it's eBay.
Oh, eBay. There you go.
Even more lucky. But support your dealer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that they definitely. I think the next revamp product that they should have sites lined up on should be Core. They should make something that is a little more articulate with Halo Remote, because I don't think that we've unlocked the full possibility of what that thing can do. Not even remotely, I guess, no pun intended. But I think they should do something that works with the Core properly, and it should be. I think they should have another audio master or something that streams, or make it something that is a speaker, but it has a screen, like the theater has a screen, but it's not really a screen, right? So I don't know. I think that there's a need for something that is a little bit more of an advanced platform than what the Core is on right now. And also make it more efficient, because the cores overheat to hell. It's not fun. So
Leo, did you mean this picture? Because this is the other Leogram connected to some awesome 90s. But if you're asking for a natural oak, it wasn't in the WeTransfer thing. Anyway, it's properly good. I like this. Also has a preamp, new oak. Again, as you can see, new dust cover. It's fucking sexy.
That's nice. So
then the other thing that is finally out, because B&O jumped the ball, is the aluminium balance.
Look how big I am.
The aluminium balance is
it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous, man. It's exactly what you would expect it to be. It looks to me almost like a pushed down and chubbied up 28 in that finish.
You know what the weird thing was last week? So they tweeted it out, right, that they launched it. And I retweeted them. And like 2 hours later, they delete the tweet because I think they jumped the gun on tweeting it. So I have a retweet, like, looks good in aluminium, and then message deleted. And it was the official B&O account on Twitter.
Funny.
Like, come on. This can't be this hard, B&O.
It is, apparently. But yeah, no, this thing looks beautiful. Like, it looks absolutely beautiful. It's something that I am really considering buying, just for the time being that I'm here as well. Like, look at that. In stereo, these things are fucking insane in stereo. I paired them up in the shop and just listened for a little bit. Holy Christ. Even with the shitty network that they got there, they worked really well. Like, I was shocked how good they sound together. So, yeah. But balance, maybe at some point, if it's on the roadmap, if they're still are serious about doing the surround over network, or Wi-Fi, I guess, whatever, like networks around, then that'd be cool. Or network links around, I guess. I don't know how you would call it, but whatever it is that, at some point, if they're saying that the theater is not using what is it? It's at 50% of its potential computational capability for the soundboard.
That's what they're saying, yeah.
So when they unlock that, and then that can do something that if you can delay the picture long enough that you can push the audio information so everything is synced together, then you're winning, because then you have it's just delaying the signal, I think, would be the
Yeah.
from the TV.
They say it's on the roadmap for 2023. Just don't forget that technically December 31st, 2023 is still 2023.
It's going to be like 2024, in my opinion,
Because
they say it's going to be the roadmap, but for 1 year, it's always delays.
Whenever they give a roadmap, it's always 6+ months more, if not more.
Yes.
I must say, though, the last time they did that, their software development team was like 10, 15 people at best. Now it's like 85. Mm-hmm. So maybe they can actually go somewhere.
Do something. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So fingers crossed, but for now, past experience prove whatever the inverse is of stock trading, they say on ads, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, past performance doesn't guarantee anything for the future. Like, past performance basically sets the rules for the future.
Yeah. If we get fucked, you know about it. Basically it.
Do you wish, though, that the fabric was darker on this instead of double sort of gray, silver, that sort of thing?
No, I think it looks perfect with the fabric it is. The pictures don't really do the justice once you see it in real life. That fabric absolutely makes sense with it. Absolutely makes sense with it.
Oh, do you guys have one in the shop already then?
Oh, we've had one since I started working there.
Okay, interesting.
It's been out for a while, yeah. Yeah, no.
Well, not officially. It's been out officially for like 3 days.
Yeah, it's been out for like, I guess, since 3 weeks now.
It's been out of the box.
It's been out of the box since they got it, man, and it's on the floor. But yeah, it's a beautiful piece. Beautiful, beautiful piece.
This makes me really want to call it Beolab balance.
Mm-hmm.
But this is also like, if I envision these as in any sort of surround sound system, like this is rearward facing. Like, you have your TV on the other side, your balancers are just standing there like that on a sort of side table like that. That makes perfect sense to me. Because they are speakers, but to any novice, they're completely hidden speakers. Because they're more sort of sculpture-esque things than...
Well, they would thought that those are fucking lamps, really.
Yeah.
Especially when you have two of them.
I mean, most people I've seen on the Discord and stuff wanted a more like Beolab 1 type cloth on there. That sort of darker grey, maybe potentially towards black fabric. Because they use that on the black version. And I sort of get it. I like it both ways, personally. But it is kind of cool that you could potentially dress it up as a sort of miniature Beolab.
I think that they should have put a power link input into that thing just for the shits and giggles. I think it should have had a power link input.
It has 2 network import or 2 network ports. Is it software?
What?
Like, could you make one of the ports or both ports power link compatible through software in this Mozart platform?
So. I don't think so. Well, you need those circuits to go to a DAC of some sorts, right?
Yeah, but they do, because you can link them together through that Ethernet port. There's some talk between them if you link them together wired.
But that's all zeros and ones, because that's just microswitch is what it is. It's
maybe it's finally switch. DPL.
I think the digital power link is just it's like they talk of what they call them, the same on the 50s and 28s and the 90s. It's a fucking network connection between the speakers, bro. Mm-hmm. That's what the DPL is. But yeah, this thing is just sweet looking. Yeah, maybe you could get a darker grill on it, but like if you saw that in real life the way it is, it's beautiful as it is, man. Like it's a proper balance of gray, and since I'm going grayer and grayer, I figure I go with the gray portals too. Screw it, don't want the black ones.
You want to match? Is this why you
I
chose a
want to
gray
match
t-shirt as
my
well?
hair. I want to match my hair in a t-shirt too. So
This is why you moved to Montreal for the purposely gray weather.
fucking gloomy Sunday, bro. It sucks, man. It's raining outside. It's gonna rain for like 4 days in a row now.
Yeah.
So it feels bad. And I don't understand shit. Like shit.
Uh, omelette au fromage.
I'm gonna do for my ass. Yeah, dude. It's funny. It's
Question
definitely
from the
funny.
Twitch side, from Generic Enthusiast. Does the theater really belong in the Beosound family?
I would say so. Because you could use it as just a regular speaker without the screen on top of it.
Yeah, but
And
it like I get the question because it is sort of more like a sound center. Because you can use a sound center without a panel too. It's just easier not to.
it's completely independent from the screen. That's why I'm okay with calling it Beosound, because you don't really need the screen, and I mean everything anyways that you need to set up with it, like all the distances and all that shit that's in the BeoVisions would be on the menus. It's all on the app now. Everything is in the app. There's like a 9-minute video of a guy that's doing the review. I forget the name.
Yeah.
Right, and he goes through that. We talked about it, so I watched it. Yeah, but that's all still in the cradle stages, obviously, as far as the the software is concerned. Digital
Herr
power link
Vagabond.
honestly doesn't really exist.
DPL is there in a lot of speakers, but it's not usable for anything. It's
It's for
like,
future use.
yeah, but the future use phrase came from
Hasn't
like
come.
8 years ago.
Yeah, so like here's how this works. If you have a, let's say, Avant or Harmony, whatever, and you put a power link into the 50s or 90s, then they just have a DPL, which is just a network connection between the other speaker. So there's a little bit of a delay because now there's an DAC that converts everything to zeros and ones and sends it over to the other speaker, along with the information about them canceling whatever they need to be canceling for one another and all that shit. And then they play that sound together. So that's how that works. In 28, however, you have to split the PL or have two PL outputs from the TV occupied, because you got to go into each. They don't daisy chain from power link to digital power link all the way to the other speaker. For that is just the DPL. It's just you put a network, and a DPL to DPL is just a network connection to the secondary speaker,
If
or in
you,
old terms, a slave.
yeah, if you don't use 50s or 90s, or there's a DPL port on a cord that nobody uses, not even BMO.
Yeah, it never worked. I don't. I think it's just molded into plastic, but it never really got put on the board.
But if you don't use any of that, then you'll never interfere with or use it or come close to it.
Yeah.
Coming back to is the Beosound Theater actually in the Beosound family? I have a hard time with. I personally would have sort of hoped that if it wasn't a sound center of some kind, that they would have reverted to Beocenter. Or
I'm glad that they didn't call it freaking Beocenter. I like the Beosound because you can. That's the thing. You can have it stand alone, right? Like you can have it, get a skinny plate to make it look like a fucking container ship thing, and then here you go. Just put it on a shelf. Maybe put a couple Lego sails on it. And it looks like a boat, but it plays, right? So you don't have to have it as an audio system, in my opinion, at all. Like it's you can just have it, yeah, just as a stereo that does magic.
I mean, when I was
Or
spitballing,
you could
like
just have it sit as a stereo, but then you can have a drop down screen with the
yeah,
freaking 127-inch projector screen.
because when I was
So
spitballing about a name for this thing like a year ago, my idea was a Beocenter stage. Because it's a play on words and it's a differentiation in the product. because it is kind of
Yeah,
different
but the
than.
stage was the same. Like stages do, like it's already a repetitive, right? Like it's the same. Like we had a Harmony Horizon fucking mix up all the time. So
Yeah. Yeah, but
I
like the play on words, also the center stage, right?
mm,
Because because you have the Beosound stage and then the Beo center stage, which would be the like center stage is literally your focal point on the stage. It's kind of the
yeah.
play on words, but I don't know. I sort of get why they called it Beosound, but it is kind of weird because it almost feels to me in many ways it undersells it. Just the way they use soundbar, because it isn't just a soundbar, not even close. Like it does so much more. It's a multi-room product. It has several HDMI's in. You can add so many speakers to it. It's basically an AV receiver. It's not just a
Mm.
sound bar. Just like when they say it's the most expensive sound bar. It's like, I don't know why anybody's proud of that. I'd much rather have the best sound bar than the most expensive.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they're advertising it as most expensive. The guy in the video said that this is the most expensive soundbar that there is on the market right now. But I
Yeah,
think
but they
that
sort of adopted it, and it's like it's the most expensive sound bar, and they're sort of like, it's like, no, it's the best, man. Like the price is
that's yeah.
incidental to the quality.
Well, but that's what people don't see. That if you were to replicate that, how many more speakers you would have to buy, and you'd have to buy a receiver, right? And you'd have to buy, uh, well, fuck, a universal remote controller if you have more than one source, right? Or two
Yeah.
sources or three. Then so there's just more and more. Some big again. There we go.
Uh, so yeah, there's that. I mm, uh, oh god, let's hope this goes well. I have to download some files from Leo. Yes, my internet connection holds and it's safe and fine
Good.
and no drop
No, it's like,
frames.
what is it? Video files?
I have no idea. It's high quality pictures, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the internet here is just abysmal, bro. I can't wait to get out of here. And it's like everywhere that I go is the internet's fucked. I don't know if it's the whole Montreal with that goofy Videotron or whatever that they use. It's weird. I don't know.
Right. Now I have to see if my CPU can handle decoding or unzipping stuff.
Why wouldn't it?
Well, because we're streaming on two places, which is all CPU encoded.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
What? You're gonna crash it fucking 10 minutes to the end?
Oh, no. I found it now. God damn it, Leo. You're not making this easy for me. I'm just trying to help, man. Here we go.
Got it.
Elias, Greek name, says, "Hi guys, it's a shame that can't connect Beosound Balance to BeoVision TVs. It's coming."
Yeah, but not yet.
No.
I think it's gonna be only the theater for now. That's for starters. That's gonna be capable of doing that.
Well, it needs to be Mozart with Mozart, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I also think the Harmony, at some point they must look at an update for it if it becomes so either they EOL it in like 2-3 years because the pretty alone can't keep carrying it.
Mm-hmm.
If the discrepancies in capabilities become that glaring.
Yeah, they're gonna
And they
shoot
don't
themselves in the foot.
really need to add any drivers or power or speaker.
They just need to swap the brain out.
Yeah, like make it able to be Mozart based in decoding Atmos or do what the theater does, even if it's to a less extent. I mean, that's fine. I don't really care. Just that in terms of spec wise, it sort of can compete a bit.
Mhm. I like it. I like where we're going with it. I hope that they come out with the freaking walnut grill for the level, because I would really like to swap. Come on, BNO, please. Maybe I should just contact the bespoke department now that I'm working with them to see if they're gonna make me one.
Probably.
I wonder if Prestige can do it, because I don't know how to do it.
I normally would, for just about everything else, I would say pretty full-throated yes, but the way this looks on the inside and how thin of a veneer it is,
It sucks.
like I said last week, it's not. Besides staining it walnut, if to actually make it walnut, it's going to be a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
Because the inside is sort of, it's on a sort of plastic frame.
Yes. Yeah, and then there's those strips are basically glued on top of it.
Yeah. Coming back to Leo's Leogram, like this dark dust cover with this natural oak, that looks fucking ace.
Mm-hmm.
Because they never came this dark, I don't think.
No.
I mean, this dark with light wood and then the aluminium strip, that looks fabulous.
They were about as dark as the Beosound 9000 glass, from what I remember. The yesteryears of attorney table.
I mean, and Leo offers it with or without a preamp built in, so it's actually kind of nice that you can go straight into a balance, Beosound 2, whatever, something with volume control and just play it directly. And if you use,
you know, it's weird. Speaking of volume control, if I'm on the phone, I can't turn the call volume up for some reason. It works for everything else, but I can't turn the call volume up on these portals. I don't know if that's a glitch in the software. I haven't rebooted my phone, so I'm gonna do that and make a phone call and see if it works. But I can't turn it up. I can do it from the phone, but it won't do it from the headphones. I don't know for what reason.
Have you checked the settings? Because you can change some of the buttons' functions.
Yeah, but it's still volume. I'm not gonna fuck with this right now. 10 minutes to the end. But
no, I
once
get
we
that.
get off the air, once we get off the air, I'll start dabbling in it. But yeah, they sound wicked, man, and it's cool. Like to put it in transparency mode, how actually accurate they are to reproduce the sound that you normally wouldn't be able to hear because of the headphones on your head. There's brand new injection molded lids available from Denmark.
Sweet.
Or soon from Denmark. Sweet.
That needs to happen. I kind of want a lid for like the 2000 I have here in the style of the 1200 ones, where it's just a whole lid and you take it off.
Mm.
And we've got it. Yeah, nice work, Leo.
I like it.
Beo by Leo, for people that haven't yet seen it. And contact him if you want to go crazy. Make him sweat for it.
I don't think he's gonna sweat it at all. I think he's got it down.
Maybe that's why he lives in the Arctic. He can't sweat; it's too cold.
But I like that whole combo, man. And actually, I looked into some Halo remotes in our shop, and they all rattle. So that's unknown. Like that's just what it is. The gold one doesn't, or brass stone that they have on display, of course, right? Because it's brass stone. But the other one rattles.
I don't get it. My Halo doesn't rattle. It's so stupid that Halo thing rattles for so many people, because the initial ones just didn't.
No, they didn't.
And I don't know what changed, but mine still doesn't rattle.
Even the remotes are still coming with the screens fucked up a little bit, that I'm noticing looking at these.
Oh, I found. I'm gonna DIY some shit on here.
What are you gonna do?
I found finally the perfect glue that actually sticks on this perfectly. So I'm
Okay.
gonna, and it's like this. It's not exactly super glue, but it's very fast glue. But for it to fully harden takes like an hour or 6. So
Okay.
just for ease of use, I'm gonna make some dots on the pause, play, and those buttons, just so I can fucking feel in the dark where I am with my thumb on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll let people know how it goes.
We put glow in the dark dabbies on it. I don't know. I just don't have an issue with mine.
It's not that it's an issue, but like coming back to electricity prices, when they are like here, and you're watching something at like 11:30 at night, and there's like one lamp on because otherwise you're becoming poor.
Mm-hmm.
Like I the other day I was watching something, and I was like, because I sometimes do like manual labor and things, I have some calluses on my thumb, and I can barely feel these fucking ridges. So instead of pausing, I pressed off, which was really annoying because part of the movie I paused before. So when you then press on again, the recording is gone because it's
Mm-hmm.
not actually recorded, it's just buffered.
Oh, hurt sauce.
Yeah, so it's like, fuck it, well, I'll watch it somewhere else then. But I found some of this Patex glue, and I tested it on other things. So there's like, you can't really see it, but you can see that sort of dimple,
Oh, a little dimple there, yeah.
and it dries clear, and you can see through it. So I'm just gonna put some on here, so I can because this I can actually feel over, because these ridges are way too shallow. It needs to be more defined. And since I don't think they're going to do anything about it anytime soon, I'm just going to, since I have 2 remotes, and if I fuck it up, I'll just get a new insert.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just going to see where that goes. And yeah, I still think they should make a rechargeable version of like the cinema remote of the BO4 they did.
Yeah, they should.
Because in dark
Or
rooms, it's fucking impossible to tell what you're doing and where your fingers are on it. At least I find. I mean, with the
yeah, I don't
BO4,
like
it
it.
was effortless. Like you felt where you were on the thing with, and you could tell, even if you couldn't see, you could sort of go, okay, well, there's a clear distinction between the list and then the numbers, and then you could count rows, right, where you were. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
just way too smooth. So some backlight on this, and so what often happens is the ease of integration. I quite often, especially when it's dark, end up doing something like that. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
fuck, I'm not, I don't want to look at this. This needs to be more seamless.
I find mine remote ever since I moved here is a little bit laggy. That I removed some of the stuff from it. I don't know why. I don't understand why it's so freaking laggy. But it is what it is. Yeah,
Maybe it doesn't have enough to do anymore. And got lazy.
I got sad.
Like, oh, all this nice stuff is gone.
That's right. I'm just connected to a goofy ass level, and that's it.
There's not even a shape in the vicinity anymore.
Nothing, bro. Sucks. It's all on the way. I'm hoping that 2 weeks. It's a long ways. Like when I'm hoping by October the shit comes in here. 'Cause I think I'm gonna have to go and buy a fucking jacket, bro. Because I packed all the stuff. I didn't foresee that I would be needing a winter jacket anytime soon. God damn it! And they're deep in the goddamn container too. I was looking through the pictures, so I'm like, fuck. I have to unload like at least a third of it to get to that. So it's gonna suck. But what can you do? What are you looking for? You're looking up.
Henrik uploaded
Jeg blev inviteret.
a Shably Blue 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 video.
Oh,
About
terribly there.
yeah, it's a
talking in Surströmming.
Tak.
So what is he doing? What is
He
this
went
video
to the
about?
launch of the theater.
theater?
So, I have no clue what he did. I'll like it because he's a friend, but but for all you Danes, I'll put it in the chat too. If you speak anything close to Danish.
Yeah, there's not that much aluminium if you think about it on that product at all.
No. Yeah, it's one of these materials that's fucking impossible to make now with the current cost of everything. I mean, you could.
Imagine
but
how much would the lab ones cost now?
Yeah. I mean, you almost get they're almost worth their current secondhand value as scrap metal.
Yeah. Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. So, what
Yeah,
the fuck was that?
that's nice. What?
We'll have to ask him. Henrik is back next week, but what the fuck is this thing?
That is weird looking.
That almost looks like a sort of spoiler with speakers in it. You would put on the back of an old Honda.
Are those little ones the tweeters and the mid ranges? Wow.
Apparently, it's a Macintosh.
It's probably something Eric sent him, because he would be definitely looking this kind of shit up. Yeah.
Oh, that's.
looks...
I don't know how true this is, but for all you Danes, Swedes, and that sort of thing, Eric was saying that when Eric was down there to meet Henrik and the kids and stuff like that, Eric could understand Henrik, but Henrik couldn't understand Eric, so they ended up talking English to each other.
That's funny. English is the way to go, man. So, on that note,
yeah,
it is the way to go. Because freaking, I'm in Francois right now, dude. Don't like it.
By the way, last thing about the theater. Actually, this metal ring around the tweeter in the middle, that's one of these things that pops out on photographs way more than in real life with your eyes. So,
no, it's like trying to take a picture of the Mercedes grill and you just take a picture of the drivers on the 50s, right?
Yeah. So it's one of those things. But yeah, I very much like it. It's very intriguing and the sound is just crazy. Anyway, in case you haven't yet already, leave a like and subscribe. We're going to call it for tonight. I don't know what I'll do next stream, aka tomorrow. Maybe I'll play a game or something. We'll see what we do. If you would want to join me, like the last few weeks, Joachim joined me. If you're listening, feel free to join me tomorrow. We'll do something fun. And I'm going to call it a night. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a good week. And see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.